Hello there. Thank you for being with us today. I'm Laura Dougal and I'm a parental return to work coach. And I'm very lucky to have Emma with me here today, who is a past client or past coachee of mine who we worked together during Emma's return to work. Emma, would you like to just introduce yourself and let us know a bit about you?
Hi, I'm Emma Birdsey. I'm an Interim Assistant Director of Data and Insights at Delta Housing. I'm a first-time mum, so when I met Laura, I had recently come back into the workplace after having my first child. So I was juggling work and being in a senior role as well when I was offered coaching with Laura.
And one of the interesting things about Emma, one of the many interesting things about Emma as well, is that you're also a qualified coach.
Yeah, yes, I am also.
Alongside.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I am a qualified coach. So it was really lovely when I was offered the opportunity to be coached myself, which sometimes, although you have coach supervisions and you do get some level of coaching on your journey to becoming a qualified coach, sometimes you don't have that opportunity to be coached yourself. So it was lovely. And I come in with open arms, I guess, into Laura's sessions and really kind of focusing on what I wanted to get out of it and how that coaching could benefit me returning to work as a new mum.
Yeah, thank you. I suppose you've answered my first question about like how did it feel to be offered coaching? And it will range for the people that I work with. Some people have never worked with a coach before, and some people like yourself are
Yeah,
qualified.
when I was offered, I thought, what an actually really good opportunity and what a great kind of niche, because there's not loads of support for women coming back into the workplace, especially as a first time mum. You feel overwhelmed. You're coming back into an environment that you've never had to navigate before because you've never had your child, so you don't know what that looks like, you don't know how you're going to manage, so you're kind of coming back in to a lot of unknowns, which can cause anxiety and things. And I think for me, being offered that specifically from someone who's kind of specializes in that area is absolutely a fabulous opportunity to really sit down and unpick some of that and get some tools to help manage your journey as a new mum and navigating the world of work. So yeah, I come at it with open arms.
And I felt that as well. Felt that from the first time we met as well. We just really hit it off, didn't we?
Yeah.
Um, just interesting what you said there as well. Are you able to say a bit more about that? Like, what is it? Because I agree with you
Mm.
about that sort of point of return, but what do you think it is about that point of returning to work that makes coaching the most help? Like, why not training, or why not? So to me, like, what is it about coaching
Yeah.
that's helpful?
Yeah, I think for me, coming said like a very qualified coach, your answers live within you, I think, a lot of the time. And everybody's experience or work life setup is different. So it's really hard to get training on things that is so personalized to you. And I think you experience different kind of challenges in that. So for me, definitely, like, my confidence felt knocked. So I was coming back into a workplace I hadn't been in for nearly a year. So you're coming back into like, what's happened, what's changed, what are things like now. There was a lot of new big change happening within the organization as well. And you've then got a tiny person that ultimately is your responsibility, and you've got to look after that tiny person as well as navigate yourself back into work. And I think it also gives you that flexibility to pick up on things that change, because it's a changing environment as well. Some things that are challenging one month might not be the next month, because you might have hit a regression in sleep and that's impacting your work, etc. Whereas I think with coaching, it gives you that flexibility to talk about those things, come up with sort of outcomes that can support you, and actually understanding what's driving some of maybe your anxiety or your confidence issues or your challenges with balancing work and personal life. And I think it just gives you that ability to pick up on those things in the moment, rather than a training course which is over a set period of time and then comes to an end. It actually empowers you as a person to continue that journey and continue questioning yourself to come to outcomes and what have you. So yeah, I think that's what I would say the difference between training and coaching is for me, is that kind of we kind of have the answers within us. It's bringing that out, it's giving someone challenging you from a different perspective, but also that flexibility to pick up on things that are happening in the here and now, which, as every parent knows, can be a multitude of things that change from one day to the next. So it does support you in that sort of variability, I guess, of navigating that personal life and work-life balance.
Yeah, do you know, I always say that I've never coached the same person twice. Like you
No.
could be the same age child, but your work situation would be different, or your home life
Yeah.
situation. You know, like something will all on your personal drivers, your motivation, like all of that.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. So thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
a great illustration that yeah, it's not one thing will not. I don't want to even say that coaching is the answer, because coaching isn't the answer as a standalone. It takes so much more. But that yeah, it's not a one size fits all.
No, and coaching definitely gives you that flexibility, I think, in kind of development for yourself and managing your new situation.
Yeah. What would you say, if you're able to share, what was the most valuable thing that you took from the coaching program?
Yeah, so for me, it was really, Laura, about how you challenge my perspective on things, and actually the way you kind of question me to kind of come up with, I think I had a few light bulb moments with you where I was like, oh yeah, actually, why does this matter to me at this point? Or actually, if I looked at it slightly differently or through a different lens, that changes my perspective completely. So yeah, for me, it was really about having that kind of person to really ask me those questions that make me challenge what I'd thought was happening at that moment in time, and making me step back and reflect, and then really being like, right, okay, so when this happens again, what am I going to do? I'm going to step back, I'm going to think about this through this lens rather than looking at it through the lens that I was looking at it through, and really helping me to kind of sit back and kind of look at things in its entirety as well, I think, is and go, well, actually, if you think about what's going on here, you've got a new baby, you've got your job, you're balancing so many different things now that, you know, you do start to look at things differently. And I think it's, without kind of trying to lose yourself in that, you talking to me and asking me those questions made me take a step back and go, oh, actually, look what I have done, and look at it through a more positive lens, I think, rather than feeling overwhelmed or like not confident in what I was doing. So yeah, I think that's my biggest sort of takeaways, is that kind of step back and kind of looking at things through a different perspective.
Mm. What would you say to someone then who might be listening to you speaking today, if they were offered coaching and they're thinking, oh, I don't even know what I would say in sessions, or I haven't got anything to bring, or I haven't got the time, you know, like as you're talking, I'm
Yeah.
just, you know, there's so much going on for people as they're returning to work in particular. What would you say to someone who was a bit, who might not be convinced that coaching was for them?
Yeah, I think be open-minded. This is about, so you can talk freely. I felt very comfortable with Laura to be able to talk to you really openly about my situation, my parts of my history, and stuff that I felt were prevalent to my journey, and some of the stuff that I wanted to focus on with Laura. And I think be open-minded, because actually have that conversation, have that initial conversation, and kind of see what it could benefit you in terms of understanding your approach, understanding your feelings, and actually sometimes just talking about it actually halves that problem. So if you've, it's like a problem shared is a problem halved, isn't it? That's the saying. I think sometimes being with someone who's completely unbiased, so hasn't got an opinion on you personally or your situation, gives you an ability to really challenge what's going on in front of you, and I think it's so powerful. So be open-minded is what I'd say, and have that initial conversation. Don't close the door on coaching, because it really is a powerful tool that will sit with you. It's not just those few sessions that you have, it actually stays with you into your day-to-day. So yeah.
Thank you. And what about organizations? Like, what do you think is the benefit for an organization? Because obviously, the way that we've worked together and the way that I generally work is that organizations sponsor these coaching programs. What would you say to organizations? Like, why should they invest in
Yeah,
this sort of support?
so I think it's so important to support mothers back into the workplace. There's so many statistics around how a lot of women leave the workplace once they become mothers, and I think it's our duty to encourage that group of people back into their positions and in their roles, and support them in that as well. It is daunting, and I think the benefits from having someone coach that person is it makes them more confident. It makes them feel like they're able to deliver and able to come back into the workspace as a mum, but also delivering on what they, and recognise their strengths as well, because your time management, negotiation skills, and everything is so they go up tenfold when you become a parent. So I think it's really important that we nurture women back in. It is a scary time. I also think that if an organisation is looking to do this with people returning to work after maternity leave, they should do it while people are on maternity leave, that first sort of maybe couple of months before, maybe a month before, so that any anxieties prior to coming back they can work through with their coach, and then the transition back into that workplace I think would be really beneficial. And it means you'll get a happier workforce who feel like they can juggle that balance and don't feel overwhelmed. So yeah, I would highly encourage it and recommend organisations to really invest in supporting mothers back into work.
Ah, thank you. And we're like totally, and that's interesting, isn't it? We're totally on the same page because we did start working together shortly after you'd already
Yeah.
returned to work. But that would be, I always say, like, best practice, if you can,
Yeah.
ideally, it's that part before going back into it, because that seems like that's the sort of crux of whenever these two worlds are
Yeah.
colliding,
Yeah.
and there's a
Then
lot going on.
it's very as I said, you've never lived a life managing work and looking after your child before. So you're going in back into a workplace that you might be familiar with and people are familiar with you, but actually it's a completely different landscape for you, and that can be really daunting. And your confidence, as I said, your confidence can be lower because you've been out of the workforce for a while, and we wouldn't do that with a person returning from long-term sick. Is why I think you'd give them support in coming back, and it should be the same with mothers returning to work.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting what you said there about how we develop all of these skills actually. So we're sort of more skilled when we come back to work, but our ability to see it is the
Yeah.
problem sometimes. We
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
hook on to like, oh yeah, that is what I'm good at.
yeah, and they're
Thank you so much.
invaluable skills.
Yeah, yeah, and they're so useful.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share before the
No,
end of this
no,
conversation?
I think to thank you for me. It's been a really eye-opening journey for me in terms of understanding a bit about myself now. I'm in a different landscape with managing my work and my caring duties. So yeah, it's been such a pleasure to work with you. And yeah, you've made me change my perspective on definitely how I view myself, and definitely I'm definitely more kinder to myself now after our
Mm.
sessions.
Oh, so I'll take that as a win. That's
Yeah,
always the
definitely.
goal. And I would say absolutely as well. It's been such a pleasure to work with you. Like I say, from day one, I
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
we're going to be
yeah.
a good match. Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you for sharing with us today. I really, really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you, Laura.